Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Simply Wed Talks, where we talk about everything from weddings, life, and all things in between. So, today, before we dive into our topic, we just want to highlight we have a new website,
Yeah,
new branding, the whole kit and caboodle. So, Kelly, you just want to talk a little bit about this new project we've.
it took a while and it was a lot. Thank God that I had her to keep me like on task. Who you're like, all right, we have to fill out our core values. I'm like, oh, okay. But it took a lot of work, but we hired a really great team,
Yes, so with Grace and Gold, they are so amazing. They're a duo. They've been together for a number of years, and they're just good at what they do.
very efficient,
So,
and I couldn't be prouder of the way that it looks. It's it's awesome.
yeah,
So you have to go out and check it out if you haven't already.
it's banging. Yeah, so check out the website. Like I said, new brand, new look. Who dis?
New people.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out. Let us know what you think. So speaking of projects and things like that, that goes into our topic today. We are talking about balancing life and work, specifically for moms and women. So we know that all too well.
Hmm.
So, I have my full-time job. Kelly obviously owns a business and takes care of her three children, all while supporting, our significant others and trying to just make life work. So we're just going to talk, not that we're experts at it by any means, but
What's worked for us?
yeah,
Maybe?
just
Yeah.
been navigating it for a number of years now. And, having multiple kids, it just kind of, you just got it figured out a little bit, at least.
Yeah.
Everyone's still alive. So
For now, yeah, for now. I mean, like, let's be honest, it is a challenge day in and day out, and just making sure that you're present for your family, present for your husband, but then very present for your business and the people that come along. So my bride and grooms and the vendors and you and making sure to carve out all that time while still balancing like being the mom that I want to be to my kids. So it is a challenge. I mean, today I got a text last night before the snow even was
school
flying.
canceled.
School's canceled. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're supposed to film. And because you have a full-time job outside of this, you have someone that normally takes care of your nanny. But with me at home, I'm dead in the water here. So, um, but just I knew I needed to do this. We had set time to do this. We had, uh, you know, our man Matt over here that balances, trying to help us with this podcast. And so I made it a priority and we made changes and they're great and they're with their sitter, but it's something pops up. It's
Bobbing and
chaos.
weaving almost every day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
chaos.
for sure. Yeah. So we'll go into some key things. So I think one of the main things that we want to start off with is to prioritize.
Hmm.
So I know it's kind of hard sometimes, but just going to give out some examples of how Kelly and I, work out all these things, which essentially go back to balancing. So
Hmm.
prioritizing is key. So Kelly and I, we try and meet once a week at least, and we sit down for an hour and we carve out, hey, what are the things that we need to get done, you know, in the business, personally, what are the things that we need to get done and what things do we need to get done first?
Hmm.
Um, and then we, from there we start to pencil out action items like, okay, how can we get this done? When does it need to be done? How can we get there? What do you need to do? What do I have to do? So I think that is so big, actually sitting down and be like, hey, what do I need to do? Because there's 100 things that you need to
Hmm.
do. But like, what are the important things?
And where do you start? Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Like we started off with like doing this new website and making sure that I had never done that on my side of things because I'm always planning another wedding or whatever. So with you coming in, you showed me different apps that we're using and you keep me on task and what is most important for us now and what can we see down the road so that we have them all listed out. We see what could happen, but then put a date on it
Mm.
and come back to it. Or if we have to shelf it, put in reasons why we are, but making sure that we come back to items once one is completed. I think that really helps.
Right. But yeah, so prioritization, it's huge. Um, I personally I have ADD, so I get off track a lot. So you just gotta, like, circle back and be like, "Okay, what do I need to get done?"
Yep.
Because probably organizing the bath towels in the closet, that's not what I need to do right now. Need to get lunches together.
Yeah.
So, um, so kind of piggybacking off of that, we have time blocking. Uh, so I think that's really important. I don't know if a lot of people utilize that as much as they should. And it's just carving out time for things. So we can say all day, like, yeah, we're gonna get together once a week and we're gonna
Right.
get things done. But we actually invite each other
Said
to
no.
this meeting,
Correct.
whether it's in my office or at Kelly's house or whatever, and we sit down and we have that penciled on our calendar.
Yeah.
And that's with a lot of things. Like it could be getting my hair done
Right.
or, all the kids' things. Like we have that on our calendars and we block out time for all these things.
And we
We
share the calendar
for sure.
and we keep each other accountable where she's like, no, you have to do this. I'm like, oh,
Right. And I even do that with Mike. So when he has things going out, he travels a lot for work. He'll invite me to his travel obligations. So
mhm,
I have them on my calendar. And then when I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing in my life, I'm like, oh yeah, Mike's gonna be gone then, or he's got this meeting, or da 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 da. So I think time blocking is huge.
mhm,
It makes all the difference.
yeah.
Um, so use your calendars.
Yes.
I have it with the kids too. So Kaylee's getting really deep into sports now, and she's gonna be in a play. She's got volleyball, basketball. She's got her own calendar,
Yeah.
and I created two, and they, especially in Google, um, we can overlap the calendars.
Yeah.
So I can turn hers off, I can turn hers on, I can see it, and all the things. So I think having that calendar just on your phone, we're all on our phones, right?
Right.
So I think that's so helpful.
And carving out that time also, might not be in your calendar, but when you get home and or I am home and the kids are home from school, um, I do block out time where I am fully invested in their homework and then playtime. We go downstairs and we, you know, 2 or 3 hours before we cook dinner and to so that they do see me in a light that is not just me and my, bedroom calling brides and doing all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So being present for them and then being present fully like for my husband where we talked about our day and where I'm not trying to task all these things and I'm getting overloaded
Mm,
because you can never really be fully present. So that is doesn't always happen, but that is I do try to make that a
yeah,
priority for sure.
the tent's there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so going into our next point, so we have outsourcing and delegating. uh, I'm still working on delegating for sure, just in work in particular and personally. So when we say outsourcing and delegating, that's essentially asking for help
Mhm.
or getting the help to help you succeed.
Right.
Whether that's hiring a cleaning lady or hiring, that extra babysitter or nanny or au pair and I get it, a lot of us maybe can't afford, things like that, but it's even just the littlest things. I mean, today you had to hire a babysitter just to make this meeting happen,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
It's not like you needed a babysitter all day, but just getting that extra hand or if it's asking family members.
Yeah.
I've been terrible at that, just asking friends and family for help. Like, I'm a strong woman.
I'm
I
like,
don't
just
need
let
any
me
help.
pick up the kids.
It's fine. I'll just go here and then I'll go there and I'll da, 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 da.
Well, I find it that is something that I'm really good at, and I feel as though what makes me a really good planner is that I've found the people that I trust and that I think do amazing work. So yes, I am like a boutique style planner where I take on these massive projects, massive tents, and it is just me that really hammers in on the planning part. But I can walk into a room and say, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, and then you're doing here. And I trust them. And so finding those people that you you can't be good at everything.
Mm,
So find the people that you're not, with something that you're not good at.
right.
Was not good at keeping tasks and this, making sure that my business is right on the back end and making sure all of my files are right. You're amazing at it and so smart in that. So that's but I knew I wasn't good at it. And look at this. I mean, we have a new website. We're doing this. So, and it's okay because I'm very creative and
Right. It's like knowing your strengths.
yeah,
So like,
absolutely.
and it's okay to say like, I'm not good at that.
Right.
So I'm gonna get somebody who is.
Yeah. Cause it's only going to make you better.
And I think we see that a lot uh, in just the business world, where people feel threatened. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, that person's gonna come in and they're gonna be better than me. So I find that a lot on teams where you get a lot of that like pushing down because people don't, they get threatened like maybe that person's gonna take my spot or take my job or look better than me. But I found if you get those people who are good and they can compliment you, they're just gonna make you look that much better.
Amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what if I were to like plan a party, you know, hey Kelly, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
People aren't gonna be like, oh, well, you didn't do any of that. Kelly did it. And be like, you threw a great party.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Kelly helped me do that.
yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think we think too much into those things.
Mm-hmm.
But but yeah, so
Ask for help
yeah, exactly. So,
from anyone.
yeah, absolutely. uh so the next piece is setting boundaries.
This is where I struggle.
So
100%. I will take a bride's call at midnight and to ask me what shade of pink,
mhm.
this should be. And my boundaries get a little shaky there because I want to take their call. I want to task it out and I want to be done. Um, yeah. So that
Mm.
is, and obviously she is with my brother, and so she's a sister to me. So our boundaries, I'll be like, I'm coming over.
Uh-huh.
There's non-existent boundaries, but creating healthy boundaries is important.
For sure.
It's maybe just someone I gotta hire out to do for me.
No, I think it's a hard thing for a lot of us, especially women, because we want to help everybody. We want to do everything. So we really do just put our boundaries aside to make everybody else happy. And then I'll go into our next point about self-care. But
Hmm.
I think it's really healthy to just say, "Hey, I'm I'm I can't take calls right now," or to set. It's okay if you set the expectation. It's one thing if you open up that window and then someone tries to come into it and you're like you just ignore them or whatever. But if you set that expectation, like, "Hey, I'm not taking calls between 3 and 5," or even we talk about this women in the business world and having children, it just makes it harder, a lot of the times. But if you set that boundary, like, hey, going into a job, I have children and I need to drop them off between 7:30 and 8:30. I won't be able to come to work at 8.
Hmm.
I'll be at 8:30.
Hmm.
As long as they know that
Hmm.
and they're okay with that up front, it's one thing when you keep coming into the expectation is you're coming into work at 8 and you show up at 8:30 every day.
Right.
You know, that's one thing. But
Of
if you
course.
set the precedence and you set that boundary, like, "Hey, this is what I need to do. This is important to me."
Yeah.
Or leaving early for I won't say leaving early, but, "Hey, my kid's in sports from this time to this time. This is what's important to me. If that's not gonna work with this job or this position, then that's another thing."
Right.
It's like setting those expectations up front
Yeah.
and, making it known and working that out. Like, "Okay, yeah, I might leave early on Tuesdays and Thursdays for this sport.
Right.
I'm gonna work an extra hour later or work from home," or whatever that deal is. I
Right.
think it's communicating some of those things.
Yeah. They're setting
That
a
we need to
healthy
set
boundary
boundaries, right.
because our kids do not have boundaries. I mean, mine are little, so they will always like come first. But I do try, or I do say, I'm a mom of 3 little kids. Hey, by the time the wedding's over, my bride and grooms know my kids' names, know who's talking in the background, and I'm like, hey, I gotta go.
Mhm.
But I always say, like, when I'm a mom of 3, you are a priority. But my kids will come first because they don't know any different and they're too young.
Right.
But so yes, can it be? It's chaos,
For sure.
but it's a beautiful chaos if you can just try to manage it
Right.
like this much.
And I will give a kudos to with Grace and Gold.
Hmm.
But I don't believe that they put this out there, but you could tell, like when we needed, I want to say when we needed things, but when they were setting out timelines
Hmm.
and things, they're like, hey, schedule this call between Tuesday. I think, I'm just throwing this out there, Tuesday and Thursdays, because, you know, they they don't take calls on
They're
Fridays.
great at
Yeah, like
boundaries.
setting those boundaries. So like kudos to you guys.
Yes.
But yeah, they laid it out. 'Cause
Hmm.
they have other commitments, their families and things. So they just say like, hey, we're out of pocket,
Hmm.
from these days or these hours. I think that's awesome.
I know. I need to do it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
We'll get there.
We're a work in progress.
We're just letting you know.
No,
These are a thing.
we did not master
We're not
these
good
things.
at it. So the last point that we want to talk about is self-care. And honestly, I think Kelly and I do a pretty good job
Yeah,
at it.
that works selling it.
But no, honestly, it took a long time to get there because especially with those of you that have kids, it's hard. They really need you all the time,
hmm
24/7. So trying to get sleep and taking care of yourself, and a lot of people might think that like getting your hair done or getting your nails done are extra, but I mean, if you look good, you feel good,
Right, I
you know.
agree.
And even if it's just I'm just going to Target for an hour.
Right,
I don't
right.
even need to buy anything. I mean, I do,
You do. I mean,
but
it's
you
like two
don't
hundred
need
fifty
to.
dollars. Like,
Half
bam.
of it's just like the time to yourself to just breathe
Yeah,
and not have everybody meeting you and pulling on you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's okay to have that time to breathe because then that makes you like a better mom or a better businesswoman to take that next call instead of being so flustered.
Hmm.
I mean, we do hot yoga every day.
Right.
Basically, we love this place, and but just like working out and setting the time to do these things, and I feel as though like our husbands and Mike is um they're okay with it because they see the happiness and the way then we react to
Yeah, like
certain
the backside of
situation.
it.
Yeah.
Like, wow, she did that and she was not a bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna make sure she does that all the time.
I mean, that might be difficult for me. I'm gonna feel like I have to go all the time. So,
But no, self-care is very important, whether it's working out or even, some people, the creative side, finding just like a hobby or just taking time to do a craft or something like a home project.
hmm
Sometimes even just like organizing stuff, it clears your head, but you just like, hey, I just need this hour of time to myself to just do something.
agreed.
That's self-care.
And creative burnout is a thing which we are going to talk about in another podcast. But being so creative all the time, creative burnout does happen. And sometimes I have to like step away and then find an inspiration in something else or get my ducks in a row for me to even try to be creative. And once I'm on, it's amazing and it's
Hmm.
boom, boom, boom. But I do notice that if I don't take some time to like, okay,
Breathe.
breathe, get my ducks in a row, get my
Mhm.
house in order, that creative burnout happens. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of people are like, I love my job, so I don't need a break. You need a break.
yeah, I bet everyone
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. It's like, I love my kids. Why would I don't need to be away from them.
You,
You do it for like
maybe.
just a small stint.
Or it's just us. I mean,
Yeah.
or it's just us.
I guess we're annoying. But yeah, so obviously, like you said, we're not experts, but balancing everything is it's hard. So
We're
we have
here
to,
for you.
yeah, you're not alone. And just giving you some of these ideas just to help
Yeah.
balance that work and family and kids and everything in between. So we hope that this was helpful. Like we said, check out our new website.
Yes.
Let us know what you think. Um, Otherwise, you guys have a good day.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.